this. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you? I don't know if you can hear me that way. Can you hear me? Okay. I don't know. So theoretically, you guys can hear me. If not, it is just pantomime. Normally I'm standing, but I can't fit in the shot. So I'm just sitting so you can see me and what I'm specifically doing if you're curious. And I'm sure you are, because, hey, everybody. Hold on, is that working now? Now it's not working. Hey. Oh, you can. Okay. You should be able to. But I don't know if the video now is all screwy. I don't know what just happened here. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Okay, let's try that again for a second. Hey, okay, so the very first thing, I'm just gonna, see, it keeps crapping out on me. Alright, screw that camera. We're gonna go terribly, terribly old school. Hey, we're gonna do this, actually. We're gonna do, I don't even know if you can see. Okay. I don't even know if you guys can see this. Hello? Okay, so the way we're going to build, this is kind of like really crappy, but the way we're going to do it, okay, so this, for those of you watching, this is part of the pattern. This is a boomer's face, this sort of thing. So basically we're going to make a modified version of this sucker right here. Yeah, so this is going to be like this, except with a different chin. Now, it may not work because I'm using different foam, but, so these are the things. So the very first step is we're going to take some of this foam, which is this lovely stuff here. You're not going to see me while I'm doing this because I've got to cut this thing. The very first step is to trace it. So it's awesome. And I apologize for the video quality of this because, you know, I'd like something better, but apparently my camera's acting really stupid and causing things to crash. Okay, so it's terribly exciting. Oh wait, you can't see that, can you? So I'm doing the first step is I am taking the face. I'm doing this. So I'm tracing a little pattern. I don't know if you can see that. So there's just one of the front of the faces and two of the back of the heads here. And it's been a while since I've used foam of this kind because I sort of moved on to this heavier foam, but they didn't happen to have that cut for me to use today, so I would have had to wait until Monday, which I am waiting until Monday to get more stuff, so I'm actually going to do both. And apparently there's someone outside wanting some other person outside to be aware of them. And then so you're aware, let's see. So I'll tell you exactly how these pieces go together. They'll be visually a little more interesting in a minute. So this goes sort of here-ish, you see. And then I've got a strip that goes here, which I have to get that piece of pattern. Then there's a jowly thing. This is made from this piece. So this piece goes about right here, that kind of thing. And then she's got a chin, which kind of goes under and serves to be this spot. Let me just rotate that slightly. There. And then these two, this piece, one of them goes here, as you can see, and the other goes on the other side. And then I create a little extra bit that will promote there to be the back of the head. And then, oh, and then there's chin. And then there's this. This is the head sort of wedge segment which there's 6 of them that I will make, and they basically go here, and then they go here, and they go here, and there's all 6 of them, and you glue them together, and it turns into a thing. Oh, I've got 1 person. That's awesome. Come on, I gotta... I wish I had this better in terms of visual quality, so I apologize, single person. Although I'm recording this, so I will also put it up for other people to see if they're interested. But I don't know who is watching me. Possibly my wife. Hello to my wife if she's the one viewer. If she is the one viewer, I would question why, because she's seen me do this numerous times before. Okay, so there's a tendency to do this really quickly. Sort of go, oh, I've got the pattern, and I'm going to zip, 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 and do the thing. But fight that tendency, people. Fight that tendency. Because if you go slow and you're a little more precise, everything will be great. Yeah, alright. Sure. Yeah, it's gonna do something here. I'm looking at the computer for a second. I'm trying to... God damn it. Shouldn't be swearing, but... Whoopee. I am trying to hang. God damn it. Ew. I'm spamming the hell out of people. Alienating my very small user base. So, or viewership or whatever. Sorry about that. I was typing something on Tweety to let people know, because I had like a bunch of people connected, but then they all left because I was having video problems. So I'm trying to let them know that it's up. But it's hard. And then also, like, it's 5 o'clock or something. It's like 4:45 or something as I'm recording this. Now, granted, that's Eastern Standard Time, and there's a bunch of people following me at different time zones. But it's Friday. It's 5. You know, I'm just doing this because I happen to get the phone today, and I'm excited to try it. Now, this is interesting because this is going to be, or interesting to me. But then again, of course, it's interesting to me. I'm making the puppets. Hey, 2 people, because this is actually technically going to be the prototype of the Boomer puppet head, but at the same time, I'm hoping for it to be good enough to be the full thing because I've built so many of them already. So, I'm just hoping that the marker doesn't die on me. Although I think it died on me just there. Okay, so there's 6 of those. So 1 second, I will be right there. You can hear me. I assume you can hear me. Hey, everybody. 1 second. 1 second. I'm off camera briefly, getting a piece of this thing. This, a pattern. Bit of a backup for some of you all. Okay, so this is the last piece. This is going to be the forehead. which is going to go sort of there. And so I just have to trace that in, and I'll give you a very quick sort of catch up on the rest of it, in case you're interested to see that. Okay. So basically, this head is made up of a bunch of small pieces, and I'm doing my best to sort of make them, but just in a sense that these pieces, and I don't know how well you can see them, but these pieces here, I'm going to cut them in a second, and then I'm going to be able to glue them, and they're basically going to turn into something very similar to this, although a little softer. So it'll be cool, and then I'll put ears and stuff, and then that'll become a little more refined. This is the Caprica 6 puppet, and with this different way of doing the mouths. Hello, I'm very manly, but soon I will look like a woman when I have eyes and hair and skin and stuff. Yeah, should be pretty awesome. I don't know why I'm starting to sound like Palpatine. Why am I starting to sound... Shut up. You just told me to shut up. And then when made, well, this specifically is the Caprica 6, and she will be connected to this, which is the Caprica 6 body, as you can see, very, very, very lovely little body, the little butt and whatnot. And so it'll be kind of like this, which you can't really see. See there. So it's kind of like this. They're like, check out my hot bod. Yes, it's a hot bod. So I have a boomer body, which is this. This is the boomer body. As you can see, it is this. It's smaller because, and these are just the patterns. This is a placeholder fabric. So Caprica 6 is taller in real life, or the actress is. So is the puppet. And then this came from a big chunk of this, actually, about this thick, 20 by 20 by what, like 3 or no 6, because I doubled it up. So it was actually 15 by 15 block. 15 by 15 by 6, and I made this was the side of her, and this was the front, so I just sort of traced on each side of the pattern, or side of the block. I put this on the front and the back, and then I used, and so those two pieces, and I used this bad boy right here, a electric carving knife, to go from a solid block to this, which I then wrapped in fabric, which is a pattern. I'm going to take this off, and then going to buy some Antron fleece, which is the same kind that they use with puppet shows, and I'm going to I'm going to do that, and then she's going to have arms and legs. They all will. There's these two, and then there's this other one, and then there's this other one. So there's going to be 4, and it's going to be awesome. But now I have to do the Sharon head, everybody. The Sharon Boomer, whatever her name you want to say. So I'm going to take my knife and very slowly, this is where it becomes compelling television, everybody. It becomes compelling when I look for my knife. There's my knife. Okay, so actually I'm going to stand up for this because it's a little weird angle. So basically, actually I'll start with this side. So basically, I don't know if you can see, there we go. I am basically cutting these things so very carefully along the line, and as I say, there's a tendency to sort of go whip, 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 because you kind of can, but not as precisely as you might like. So this part is terribly slow. I also have a glue gun behind the computer, and it is heated and all ready to go, because that's where it gets really exciting, because the really exciting part of this is once I've actually cut the fabric, then I've got to glue it, and I glue it by applying the glue and then holding the pieces in place, and then generally talking to myself, actually, which I guess I'm doing now, except I just happen to have people watching me, which is actually really a convenient excuse. I like the convenient excuse. It is very convenient. So this is going to be her face, as you can see. This is the sort of a foam thing. So, yes. So it's interesting. It took me a while to do the first prototype of the Caprica 6, which was the first one of this style I did, because it's not normally not the style of head I normally make. I have not really been terribly complicated or complex. The heads that I've made, you know, the features of the heads are certainly become a little more complicated, but the heads themselves, the shapes and whatnot, are pretty simple. like this is here. This is Snitch. So he's kind of a little, hey, how's it going? My name's Snitch. What's going on? And he, but he's just a Q. He's pretty. Actually, I mean, I like the look of him quite a bit. That's a rebuild of him. And I have a rebuild of Jason over here, which he's just basically a ball. This is so humiliating. I've been here for months, and you haven't even built me a body. I don't know if I've disabled the chat. I hope I haven't disabled the chat, but anyway. I assume you all, yeah, you can hear me. I hope. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so there's that, and I have a Clark head and stuff like that elsewhere. But they're not as complicated as all the other ones. And I'm just talking because otherwise it's going to get really boring. Unless you want me to stop talking. Or if you have questions, I mean, if you have questions as I'm talking, if you want to do the chat thing, I would be happy to answer questions, which is, which would be fun. If you have questions that I could answer. But so you want to, one thing that I sort of discover is if I'm angled weird on the cut, then the head gets glued together really weird. So you want to sort of try to keep the blade as perpendicular to the cutting surface as you can swing. Which is, see, this is so exciting. And you know what? It gets more exciting. It gets even more exciting in a few minutes when I actually stand still and I'm just holding glue, like holding foam together. It's just fabulous. Now I'm using the low heat glue. Or glue gun. I tend to use the high heat glue gun. I just prefer it. But I, for this way, it'll dry a little faster, so hopefully it'll go a little faster. Also, to be quite honest, I have misplaced. Hey, how's it going, Puppet Builder? If that is your real name. Hey, and you spelled my name right. That's pretty awesome, too. Oh, gotta move my chair here. I'm gonna fall off my chair. I'm gonna fall off my rocker. Which my wife will tell you I have done, actually probably well before I even met her. So this is terribly exciting, I know. I gotta figure out the camera work, especially if I'm actually going to continue taping this. Generally, I've been recording the process of building all of these puppets as I've been going. The Cylon one, I have probably a couple hours of stuff now, but I do some work and then I record it, so this is sort of interesting to record as I'm doing it. And to ramble. I've got 8 people still. Woohoo! Yeah, if you have questions, I don't know, this is the kind of thing. Wait, where the hell did it go? There. Questions or anything? Let me know. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Can show mode all. Okay, it looks like. Well, yeah, obviously the chat. Okay, good. I assumed so, but I worried. I did the live Palpatine last week, and people were chatting a bunch, and they actually heard me, but I guess I was more directly interacting with the people. And this is terribly exciting. I mean, Puppet Builder knows what I'm talking about. This is the fun stuff, but it doesn't exactly look fun from the outside. It looks... it's thrill a minute. I'm Friday, end of the work day. I'm sitting here, doing this. But, so the head, the semi-wedge thing I did first on the Stephen Colbert puppet, which I don't have a good. Oh, yeah. Which the Stephen Colbert puppet is that guy right there. Yeah, I know. You need a lot of blades. I've taken to using dollar store blades because they're actually not bad. They seem to wear out as quickly, and they're pretty cheap. And I'm actually going to need to change the blade after cutting her head open, I think, or cutting her head segments. And I sort of, that was the Stephen Colbert puppet was the first time I used this sort of little wedge. So I generally actually used all of the Project Puppet stuff that Pasha Romanowski makes, which is really awesome. And if you're looking to get started at building puppets, go to projectpuppet.com because it's pretty fantastic stuff. Anyway, so I did that, and it was cool. And then the face actually was relatively complicated, but it was still had, oh gosh, it was still relatively simple. And then I was planning these puppets, the Cylon puppets, and then I saw this puppet that Pasha built. Actually, it was a Spike Lee puppet, and it was just amazing. The detail on the face was just fantastic, and I sort of wanted to make the heads just like that, which required me to step up my skills a bit, which is fun, and it's working so far. So I went through a bunch of paper prototypes to figure out the face, because generally I sort of go with much simpler geometry and then sort of make it up on the backside, and by backside I actually tend to mean, in this case, the tail work and the face. Okay, so those are the pieces. Okay, so we're going from say this to this, and then it will become this. Although this is a nicer foam. This is like a 70 density, whatever that number means, and it's actually, this is a 45. So it's cheaper. It's what they happen to have cut. I'm getting more of this on Monday or Tuesday or something. So the glue gun should be my glue gun. Oops. I just unplugged. Oh, never mind. I just unplugged my laptop battery, but my laptop, the magnetic case is the laptop. It can handle that. Anyway, so what I'm going to do first is kind of fake this angle a bit. Did I do that there? I'm trying to remember how I did this a little while ago. Yeah, okay. So what I actually am going to do here, I want this to sort of angle in slightly, so I'm actually going to cut, because I want the sort of the brow. So what I'm doing here, I don't know if you can see, is I am sort of doing an angle cut, which is a little sloppy, but you know, this is going to get covered by stuff and covered by stuff and covered by stuff. So I want to be, you know, decent but not to the point that so this will be like this, and then basically this face is going to sort of do this. So what I'm going to do here, I need more glue sticks. So I'm going to do, I'm just sort of taking this here, and then sort of, this glue gun kind of sucks though. For a while I had this cool cordless glue gun, and it was this, called Cold Heat, I think it was called. Ah! I almost got, oh, the glue almost spilled. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gluing it, and then one thing I discovered fairly recently is if you sort of rub it with the applicator, it spreads it and then makes it quicker to dry. So basically, now here's the part that's really exciting, because I just stand here like a schlub, waiting for this to dry, and I sort of just, yeah, I don't use like that. I prefer the glue puppet builder because, I don't know, it feels quicker to me. And so basically this is the part where I stand here like I say, like a schlub, and I just hold it still, which I don't know if you can even see, but there. So yeah, so it's I think that'll be okay for that first segment. And then basically what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. Now this glue gun is not as good, but this is like a $3 glue gun. And as I said, I used to have this one called Cold Heat, which was neat because it would cordless, and it's harder to knock over and stuff, but the battery died really quickly, and I sort of keep coming back to this one. My core one is about 3 years old. I think the only reason I have a second one is because I misplaced the first one for a while, and that was what I did. Or so I just bought a new one because they're like $3 each. This thing is like this glue gun right here. Like this is like $3, and it works perfectly well. It's great. There's no, you know, I don't need to replace it. It hasn't broken on me. The other one kind of does a bit, or the larger one did. But let's see. I got 8 people. That's kind of cool. I got like 8 people consistently now. That's neat. So again, I'm very sorry that this is so boring, this part of it, because it gets more so. So this is like hours of me just doing this. And then after this, I'm going to go, my wife and I are going to get a pizza. Whether that means going out for pizza or staying in. I feel like it's staying in, but I'm not entirely sure. See, the video still works. I'm just doing this. You see, the video is still working. But so I did the Colbert head. Just I figure, you know, I may as well actually talk to y'all. I basically had to lay out. Let's see. This was the Caprica 6 head. This one was my first model that I did of it, and I started with a sketch. This is the sketch I made to try to get a full-size sort of thing. And now in my sketchbook, I worked out the individual pieces, and I apologize if I'm being repetitive here, but so because I wanted to sort of make them in different segments, and I was originally, I don't know if you can tell, but I had a different head shape than what I ended, or structure than I initially went for. But this was so I could get a good size, so I'd know roughly how large to start making the pieces. And then I did a paper prototype using this, which is newsprint. I just cut them up into sort of a rough shape, and it was kind of sort of a rapid prototyping thing because I knew it was going to not work. But I also knew I needed to do this sort of the first one. So this is one piece that's not proper. It's not done yet, but you'll see the form in a few minutes. It'll start taking shape. And this head might be slanted, so I might actually need to do a different head. I'm not used to using this foam anymore. I don't tend to like it. It's okay. It's just like upholstery foam, but you know, the stronger the foam, the more resilient, the better it'll hold the shape. And I'm sure it'll be fine, but it's also it's just weirder to cut. I've gotten used to the other cutting. But so I'm just holding it in one hand, and then I do whatever. So the 6 head here, I made this out of paper initially, and I could do that in just a few minutes because I'd roughly cut out the shape, and then I don't have any of them because I would then destroy the prototype and then mark up more paper and then build another one really quickly. So it was sort of a rapid prototyping that let me get to this in, I don't know, like 4 or 5 iterations. They're on my wall behind me. Some of them look really creepy and alien and stuff, but this is kind of what it is. And that took a while because I wanted to get it just right. But then for subsequent ones, like Ty, which was the second one I made. This is the Ty one, which is the second head I made. And so you can see he was based off of this sketch. So I don't know how well you can tell what that is, but that's basically a different head shape. And I really wanted them to each have slightly different head shapes and for them to feel sort of organically, well, I suppose organic. Similar to the way I have the bodies, where the bodies reach a different size, because I slightly have the different body sizes. So I have, you know, just to show this again, I have this body. Oh, this is actually Tyrrell. And he's got a bit of a gut. I don't know if, well, there, you can tell he's got a bit of a gut, kind of look vaguely pregnant. And then this is Boomer, whose head we're building right now, or I'm building right now. And you can sort of see that if you have one across the other, you know, they're sort of realistically sized differently. So this is roughly the height, so you can sort of see that one is the other. But I also have Caprica 6, different size, so she's also, oh wait, actually that's Ty. And he's a little more muscular, so he's actually a little larger than Tyrrell. And then here's the thing, and then the Caprica 6 body, she's got like a bigger chest, and you know, sort of a little more curvy. She's certainly got more hips, whereas Boomer's kind of flat, or she's not hippie. But so Boomer is actually much smaller than Caprica 6, but that's roughly based on some photo reference for the actual actresses. Okay. So a word about this gluing, if anyone actually cares. I don't know if you're actually planning on building anything, but I'm going to keep talking because it's kind of what I do. I'm sort of doing this, rubbing it so it'll go nice and quickly. What I'm doing is I'm holding the pieces still, or together, until they dry, but I'm not pinching them, because you can pinch them and it'll make the glue sort of diffuse a little bit faster. But the problem with that is that it'll actually make them pinch, and it'll sort of look like it'll sort of bow outward, which is hard to describe visually, or describe. But it's something that happens. Hello, Bitter Old Joe username. I didn't notice that username. Get 8 people still. That's kind of cool. So I am, see, I'm just... Yes, Andrew, live. Andrew, are you on here? Because you're linking to it. Dan Sava, who always mentions me on Follow Friday, which is nice of him. Thank you, Dan. So this, yeah, that's about right. So it's a little slow. So basically, we have these like 3 pieces, And then I'm going to connect these two together while the first one kind of dries. Actually, screw that. What I'm going to do first, let's do the chin. Let's do the chin. Where did my jowls go? Oh, here are her jowls. Not really my jowls. Yeah, the question is, am I going to answer the head from the body? So this is, I'll show you what my thought is. I'm probably going to make a sleeve, or I'm going to build a neck here that's basically going to hang from under the chin, and I'm probably going to do about a 180-degree neck here, and then I'm going to, what I'm thinking is, I'm going to do here, and hello, God has a plan for you guys. I'm on Ty's body. But so it feels actually pretty natural to sort of rest my hand on the back of her head. So what I'm probably, by the way, that sounds, Puppet Builder, are you going to enter the head from behind? Sounds vaguely creepy. Vaguely creepy. So what I'm thinking of doing is making the neck there to cover from up to almost a 3/4 shot, because it limits where I can film. But then I'm going to take here, I'm going to get like a green screen fabric sleeve, which may actually, I just might get a pair of gloves, I don't know. And then that way I can just sort of like have it, if I need to have a slightly different angle, I can do that, and I could have this angle and then just sort of fake it or something like that. And for like Caprica 6, her hair should cover most of my hand, so it'll be more of a problem with time. But that's my thought. I had originally thought of actually drilling a hole or cutting a hole here, so my hand would actually sort of go like, I can't really get the angle there. So it would be like this, but then the head will be really far back. So I could do this and cut a hole all the way through, just sort of right up the center. But then that would limit where I could perform, because I'd have to have my hand pretty well straight like this, and it's really awkward with the elbow, or I could be completely above. And actually, it probably would work okay if I only put their bodies to here, but I kind of want to give them legs, so that's a concession. Although I guess actually, if the first way doesn't work out, I have leeway to cut more of them, which I'll make that decision before I have to build their clothes, which is kind of cool. Neat. I don't know why I'm so excited about the 8 viewers, but kind of cool. Kind of cool. So this is going to be her chin. Now this may be too much of a chin for her, because I really think she has a chin. I don't have the photo reference for her in front of me. So basically, how this goes, I don't know if you can see this. So this sort of forms her chin. So I've glued these two things, so this is the pattern, and then basically I'm folding this up. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm just sort of trying to make it there. So I'm like folding it up like that, so then it becomes the chin. So I put a lot of thought into the Caprica 6 and sort of figuring out the way that went. And then actually what I was doing before is when I was building the other iterations of the head, I was sort of committing heresy, what feels like heresy to me. And I'm just sort of pinning this in place for the glue to dry, which will potentially kill the pin, because the glue will glom onto it. But for sake of good web television-ishness, I'll sorry. Plus it's gonna be. So I'm gonna leave it like that. So basically, this is what it'll look like when the glue dries. And then where are they? Where's the jowls will kind of go roughly here, right? And then her face kind of goes over it like this. Like I don't have a nose pattern yet, but that's going to be pretty simple. I sort of do that. I've been doing that one basically to fit or whatever. So let's see here. So the next bit is, this glue gun is not as awesome as the other one. I much prefer my other glue gun, but I don't remember where it is. I've misplaced my hot one again. So basically, I am holding this. Now this is going to be the back of her head, functionally speaking. Ow. Ow. You know, you get used to the pain of hot glue. Well, that's cool. Harold Johnson. What is your Twitter name? If anyone wants to, because I'm curious to know, you said Harold Johnson. Is that Harold Johnson the Twitter name? Because I'm just curious, and I'm sort of distracted by doing this, so I don't. My apologies if it is actually your username and I don't follow you, because that'd be slightly embarrassing. But okay, cool. Because I see that a Joe O'Toole has linked me. That's neat. Sorry. There. Cool. If I don't follow you yet, I will. I will totally look into this. But yeah, so I put a lot of thought into the Caprica 6 head because I wanted to get the pattern set right. Now I was actually considering doing it completely different for each one, but then ultimately this head, which is actually modified. This head is a modified version of her, so the chin's a little narrow. It's going to be Bobby from Dapoom, which is a new character. I have the head here. It makes sense to do this sort of wedge thing. Oh, don't worry, I won't. Have I spoiled any Battlestar Galactica? I was gonna say well, I guess actually it depends on how far you are along in the show, I guess. But if you're only in season 1, then I may have accidentally spoiled some stuff. Okay, so this we did on one side, and probably. Oh, I'm sorry. It's because that was actually like, gosh, I guess a couple of years ago at this point. But how far are you into the show? In any case, I'm just building these puppets. Part of the reason I'm building, well, let's just say that. Sure. Again, sorry if I spoiled that. It's sort of it's because of the delay between seasons. It's been so long since I haven't known that. I kind of forgot that was like maybe a thing. So as you can see, I'm. Well, thank you. I will try to. Sure. Because I film bits of this, as I say, generally speaking. And then someone was saying they like time lapse, that require me to actually sit and film this whole thing, and I thought, hey, I could film this this way. How many people are watching now? I don't know if any. Oh, it's still got 8 people. That's kind of cool. Well, it's really fun. I wasn't until just a couple of years ago when I decided to do Dapoom, and then I sort of learned stuff. I sort of learned puppetry as a course of doing that show. It can be easy to build them, depending what you want to do. Like a puppet, like this is an aborted attempt at like redoing Brian, and he's just a sock puppet pattern from Project Puppet, and I think one of his pupils just fell off his eye, but now he looks really horrible actually. But he's just one of these guys, and his pupil fell off, so he looks actually like, I don't know what's going on. I'm really easy to build. I'm strong as hell. But that's just, you can do this in a couple hours, and then make a fairly nice one. If you go to, actually, it's like $20 from Project Puppet. There are versions of those patterns up online. If you do a search for like Kermit puppet pattern, you'll find a bunch of stuff. And then it can be something that takes days and weeks and months, but which is sort of where I'm at because I'm pretty obsessive about it at this point. But you can do really neat stuff really quickly because that's sort of the power of it, the simplicity, right? Like this Sesame Street. All of those puppets are pretty simple. Do I watch Syphil and Ollie? I don't think I did, but I think I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember. This is terribly exciting. Look at the. So this basically is going to be the head, and then it'll sort of wrap around. And I'm gonna connect this when I finish building the actual head. My concern with this kind of foam is that because it is thinner, I will. Syphil and Ollie, yeah. Is it the one with like the sock puppet with like one really large eye or something along those lines? Because that feels, I could just be totally just making that up, but in fact I'm probably making that up, but that feels like it could be something that's really real. I don't know. This glue gun sucks. Okay. I'm making that up. Damn it. I keep thinking of, when you said Syphil and Ollie, I was thinking of Asterisks, asterisks? like the French comic with the big sea monster. Like the it's really famous. I just don't remember the name of it. But oh, huh. Then I have no idea what you're talking about. The name sounds familiar though, but I'll certainly look it up. Um, uh, but anyway, so the faces, I decided, it took me the most effort. It was the biggest chunk of work to build to get to this phase, and then from her to do Ty. At this point, I already had the head, and part of it was because I was doing it separately, and I'm sort of sculpting the head in a sense, like it's a bunch of little pieces. I never saw Asterisk. Or Asterix. I read some of the graphic novels when I was a kid, like crappy translated versions. Well, I assume were crappy translated versions. But so that from this to get to Ty isn't that hard, because then I just sort of say, instead of the cut of this face, I just sort of I do the cheek a little differently, so I'm not starting from scratch. Or if I want the head slope a little differently, I can do that pretty quickly by changing the angle of the cut. And to go from to get from her, from Caprica to Boomer, the one I'm making right now, all I'm really doing is changing this. So I'm basically making these, because in Caprica, I don't know if you can tell, but this is a cheek, and sort of the sinus area. So there's like 3 pieces that go to make her face, that part of her face. And then in Boomer, I'm just collapsing it, and I'm trying, because I made it slightly bowed a little here, like it bloomed. Well, theoretically it blooms, so that her face will be a little bit chubby, hopefully, not like a lot, but just enough. Like in my attempts to do Tyrell, this is the first one, and the second one that I'm going to do like over the weekend is not going to have these eyes. These are going to take away because I wanted to have them this sort of sunken, like really puffy cheeks look, but that didn't end up being necessary. So I'll just sort of make them more like this, although without the horrible crunching. But and then this mouth is blah blah blah. But the mouths are something that's different, because I generally do have a mouth like this, where it's wide open. Mouth. Oh, my mouth is wide open. Oh. So there's that. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? And I did this. I was actually talking to Andrew, Puppet Vision, who just connected. And I have sort of the wide thing, and this is a Project Puppet mask, and that's my default. And I wanted to, one thing I really liked about Pasha's Spike Lee puppet was the way that the mouth was just small. So this is it, and it took me a while to figure out how to do this. So basically I cut a line across here, and I'm actually cutting a little bit above and beyond so that it has some play. So it kind of is like a nutcracker mouth, except not separated, because I want to have fabric. So I just have a little thing here. So it's bit of a tricky thing to get the mouth working this way. Yeah. God is a plan. God is a plan for you, Gaius. Ha ha ha. Anyway, so you can see here that basically what I'm going to do, I have 2 more to attach, but I'm going to do sort of like this will sort of think in a few minutes this will become clear what the hell I'm on about. And I'm just going to keep going, because this is going to take me, like another 20 minutes or something. So this is going to end with the whole head being built, and me probably running out of jokes to tell. Although I suppose that never stops me normally. I can't remember if I did actually post a link to it. I don't know. Probably not, actually. Wait, when did that text just disappear? Yeah. Oh, it's Project Puppet. Let me just type that in while I'm... It's for pay, but it's really good work. Thanks. And Project Puppet is the site where you can get all the patterns, which actually have like the Brian one, like you have like your basic sock puppet. There's a monster one that we don't have a copy of right here. This is one of the sort of polyfoam heads, which are really versatile. It's good work. It's good work, and it's like 20 or 30 bucks or something like that. I can't remember the price right now. He frequently has sales. It's if you have a desire to make puppets, it's a really great thing. It's a really great resource. So okay, so absolutely no problem, Errol Johnson. So basically, I'm going to connect these right here, and then I'm going to. Well, I'll show you here. Watch the magic come alive. I mean, Andrew, I I do know how interesting this is to people who actually know how to make puppets, and Puppet Vision is better at this than I am. So he's kind of, Puppet Vision's kind of slumming it by watching me do this. He's slumming it. So see, I don't know if you can see, but so I've connected the two of them. So in the same sense that right here, when they come together, it sort of makes it bowy, and it's sort of like it's like the top half of a beach ball is what the head will be. So actually, using a cool heat or a low heat glue gun is actually pretty good because it works nicely. And then the thing is, when you have the foam, the way you get the curve. Oh, it's unique. Thank you. I don't. That I hope unique is not code for completely making it up as he goes, but the reason the foam curves like this is because you have to sort of bend it to get to meet the seams, and then it's flexible, so it curves, which is handy because then it allows you to sculpt all of the stuff. Now I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. Which is rarely the case. But so you can see this one is now sort of bowed because it's pulled in, so it's actually funny. I had someone criticize me fairly recently for being a newbie, for looking like I was very unprofessional or unpolished in my building. But the reason he gave was because it didn't look exactly like Sesame Street level Muppets, which is I thought was kind of funny. Which is weird. So I got a little defensive about that, but hopefully I didn't get like annoyed terribly at the person. But I mean, I understood what he meant, and he later complimented me on the work that I've done. But it's kind of funny. Oh yeah, sorry about the not giving a plug to Puppet Building for. But see, when you were here, Andrew, you didn't see, but now Caprica 6 has ears, and because I just had some reticulated foam that happened to be pink, so she's got pink ears, which doesn't mean that she'll have pink ears forever, just that she has pink ears currently. No, I didn't let that. So if you let go of the glue too soon, it does this weird stringy thing that's very crappy. And where is Ty? Where are Ty? So here's Ty. Here's one thing. I was actually studying the photos of Ty from the show, and he has, later in the series, he loses an eye, which I'm not telling you why, Harold, so there shouldn't be a spoiler, but so he has like the image at the end of the show is him with this thing. And so it's actually, I looked at photos, like press photos, and he's actually wearing a bandage that they've just taped over. So this is my little detail, is that he actually is just going to be wearing a bandage. And the eyes on this are eventually going to be doll eyes, which I think I don't have any of. Well, I have like these, so it's going to basically be this style of eye, which I'm probably going to I drill a hole inside a painted ping pong ball, and I sort of glue this to the back, and then stick that to the head in some fashion, and it makes it look really neat. I would show you the fairer one, but it doesn't quite work. So, see, it's turning into a head. So you can see, it's actually turning into a head. Andrew, I'm curious to know what is, absolutely not in a tell me how I'm awesome way, but what is unique about it? Like, what do most people do when they're building the puppets? I'm curious now, because I haven't really watched people build them much. Ha! No, I'm not gonna. For anyone who came after, who didn't hear that bit, Harold is like, I think season 2 or something like that on the show. I can't tell. Well, I'm not going to tell you now what happened because I don't want to like spoil more than I already have. Although you can watch to that point. You can watch the show up to the reveal without feeling spoiled, simply because they didn't make it up, or they made it up as they went. So you're not there's not really anything seeded, like not seeded, foreshadowed. There's Harold. I see Harold. Did I follow Harold? I don't follow him. I'm looking. I also have Tweety running as I'm holding this. Yeah, see, oh, okay, sure. I did that a lot, and then I was trying to get a different shape, but I wanted, um, I'm not a claymation guy. What are you talking about? Oh, here, someone was asking on Twitter if you didn't think of it. What was the question? Yeah, well, well. See, that's the thing, Harold. It's been long enough that the show's been out, and certainly those bits that, you know, the nature of the final five, which you probably aren't even at yet. 2.5 is good. Oh man, the Pegasus trilogy of episodes were awesome. Um, but yeah, see, that's what I tend to do. Andrew is I don't for anyone not following the chat. Andrew's just saying that a lot of people tend to make more spherical heads and sort of or sculpt from a block, which the bodies are actually my first attempt at actually sculpting, which actually turned out fairly well. And I'll try it again I want to try it again for face, although I want to get something a little more precise than the electric carving knife that I was using, which is kind of cool. So it was fun to use. It's a little imprecise in some ways, especially when you're talking about like the stomach area here. It's hard to get a good angle to make any definition. But Andrew is saying that most people use the things, which actually is this, which is like one piece that's sort of cut sort of at weird angles, so it glues together as a circle. And then this is basically the wedge, though. Right? Like I mean, becomes a wedge. Sticks to hold. Yeah, like the rod puppets, generally speaking, sure. Which actually all of my rods have been, aside from Mojo, who I can't reach right now, they've all been sort of taken away over time as I've taken them off, and I've removed them and shipped them with other puppets that I've sent out and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a good way to get some good manipulation going on. But you don't have to. Those live hands are pretty cool too, and that's where you basically make a glove out of whatever skin the puppet is made of. And then that's like a Bert. No. Which is it, Bert or Ernie? Which one's the live hands? I always get the names confused for some reason. The heavyset one. Bert, yeah. Hey, Josh. Yeah, so he's live hands, which is basically a glove. And I don't have any in reach, but like this is the snitch hand, and this would be a rod hand because I'll eventually connect a rod here. So I sort of do like this. And then the other way is to do the live hands, which you basically make a glove that is loosely connected to the body, and then that way that allows the puppeteers to actually control things with a certain amount of dexterity, like a Swedish chef and whatnot. Although actually the Swedish chef is actually just hands and gloves, as I am recalling my Muppet Show lore correctly, if I am. Yeah, because well, I mean, not the mouths, but one of them is a rod puppet. Ernie is, and Bert is live hands. So they just like if the puppet needs to pick stuff up a bunch, you can either do lots of cutaways and close-ups and use a rod hand puppet with bendable fingers. Like I've taken to using bendable fingers. Like this one is bendable, so I can sort of do this. I basically it's two pieces of foam glued together with some wire, some armature wire in the inside, which is pretty handy because then you can have them actually grip stuff. Like he can hold the gun, but this is I haven't made it yet, but this is one half of one of the puppet Jason's hands. So that's basically a glove that will fit my hand. Which you can kind of see the pattern that I've traced there. It's a little hard to tell. My one hand is occupied, obviously, but so it's sort of like that would be a live hand thing, and you make two of those and sew them together and make the glove. Yeah, the paper craft, sure, and I kind of like that. And actually, that's I said earlier that's actually how I start the more complicated ones to figure out how the foam pieces go together as I make paper prototypes. Which actually, it's fun because it's very, very quick. You get a good sense of feedback. You can make changes really, really rapidly. So I've almost got the head done. Now, I have no idea if this head is going to be in the shape to properly to use, but I'm going to continue making it just on the off chance that it will be. So as you can see, it's become kind of a circle. But it seemed like to get the more refinement that I was wanting, because I'm really a big fan of Philip Hatcher's work, which is thistledownpuppets.com, which is like there are a few puppet. You find these puppet builders and you're sort of in awe and then also upset because they're so much better than you, and you sort of want to get better like him, like they are. But Philip Hatcher runs Thistledown Puppets, and he gets it. It's like sculpture, and it's just so great. Like I really, really like the way the way his stuff looks, and I kind of wanted to do stuff along that line, because it's fun stuff, right? Okay, this is not quite. Shit. Okay. So, I almost pinched it there, because I said before, don't pinch it. You got to hold the glue in place, which is, God, it's so slow. But it gives me time to chat and to read the screen mostly. So I'm just going to hold these in place because I've got these two little things here. I mean, I'm always looking for like new fabrics and stuff, but I don't know that there's necessarily new stuff being made. Like there's not like puppet foam or something. I mean, you're sort of going through what else is already out there. Like this, I just go to a foam store and get this, and you got to order like the kind of fleece you order or whatever, and you sort of what fabric works, and you're basically rummaging through bins and stuff to get it. But it's not really the case that you're like there's no like puppet making R&D kind of thing in that way. I don't think. Andrew could correct me on that part. Or puppet vision, pardon me. Josh, how come you're still online? Aren't you supposed to be like home or something? Because it's like 6 o'clock now, isn't it? Yeah, it's like a couple minutes to 6. What is wrong with you, man? You should be like home, unless you are home. I don't know. Okay. So that's sort of the head shape, the dome, and I don't know if I really terribly like it because I gotta fix this bit here. See, that's the problem. It's really easy to sort of mess up these things. So now I've got to just hold this in place. And I'm just gonna sort of roughly fix that, and then sort of hold this down like this. Make it go. 11 viewer. Am I up to 11? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm. Oh, yeah, sure, and animatronics, yeah. That's totally outside of my wheelhouse, though I haven't really gotten into that. It's kind of cool, but actually, coming as a computer dude to begin with, I like the tactility of making the puppets by hand, although I certainly would like to eventually play with that, because I sort of eventually would like to play with all of those things. So that should be... No, I gotta hold this. I've got to hold this completely still for another couple minutes. So where did I put... My desk is not normally this cluttered, but, it is right now. And I'd like to actually use either the thicker foam, this stuff, the 70, or... I don't know if I'd want to be an Imagineer, but I certainly would enjoy having that as my job title. Like, whatever the duties are. It's just, that's a neat title. And then there's this is the 45, and the 70 is a little denser, and then there's this reticulated foam, which you can't really see what it is, but it's very high quality. It's very carvable. This is an ear. This is Ty's ear, but anyway, you can carve it, which you can't really do with this stuff. So, how long have I been doing? It's about an hour so far. Wow. I don't normally keep the clock running to see exactly what I'm doing here, so my glue gun is giving me problems. It's giving me trouble. That's why the glue's not sitting. I think you got to make sure the glue's actually sitting properly in this damn thing. There we go. Okay. Oh, actually, I think I just screwed that cut up, didn't I? Oh well. Let's give it a shot. So what I'm trying to do here, what I'm doing here now is I'm connecting this piece to this, institute this, and then this may not work terribly well, but so this is where this part of the head sort of curves in. Did I just... Fuck. I put that backwards. That's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. See, I just screwed that up. So what I'm going to do now is, because I realized there was actually an error I made, the kernel shot glass. I do need an extra... Hey, Allie, how's it going? Allie runs a neat and awesome store online, well.ca. Sells like health-related stuff here in Guelph, which is pretty awesome. And he's a super nice guy. Also, I'm just plugging him because he just came on. So basically, what I'm doing here, and I was actually putting it backwards because I cut this at an angle, and I'm cutting this at an opposite angle so that I can sort of seat it a little differently. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So that way I can sort of get the shape here. I sort of have like the brow. I don't know if you can tell. The brow. Yeah, I do. I need an automatic, like those like the fabrication printer things that you can make, that you can actually, that are self-replicating. So you can basically use the printer to make the equipment to use to make the next printer. I don't have a kernel shot glass yet, although I have oh, my gun is upstairs. I'll have to show you that the next time I'm building something. I made that out of Sculpey, and then I've got to make the clothes, but I've got to make the badges. So he'll have like a like a Galactica badge there or whatever, and I'll have to make like the pins, which I'll probably make Sculpey out of. I don't know if it would take the fun out of it. It would be quite a challenge to make the first one, you know. So that would be pretty interesting, although... Oh, I got those backwards. I got the Bert and Ernie backwards. Nah. Oops. It was pointed out to me that I got these things backwards. Let's see. So then I'm gonna do this. And like I say, smoothing the glue out, which you can't really see, so that it'll dry a little faster, so I don't have to actually hold it more. But you can see how it's starting to take a shape. My concern with this particular density of foam is that it won't hold the shape well enough. But in the worst case, even if it doesn't, then I'll know whether or not the Sharon Boomer pattern will work, whether it will work out or not. I mean, it's just a slight modification of the Caprica one, so it should be fine. Oh yeah? What's it? Oh, I think I've heard of that particular place, unless there's a lot of them. What is it called? The puppetry place not far from where you live. So that I wonder if people are like coming in and going, "Oh, the video's stuck," because I'm just holding this still at this point. Wow, this has to be compelling watching, doesn't it? Because I'm just standing here holding this and talking. Woo! On my eyesight cam, because I had problem. Oh, okay, I've not actually heard of that one. I had problems with my better camera, which would be a much higher quality camera, but whatever. Which I didn't have problems before, so it kind of screwed up for me. I don't know why. So ideally, all of these are going to be cut perfectly, or glued. Like the segments will be glued and it'll be even, but that's never the case. So I may actually have. What I should have done is actually spent a bit of time sort of figuring out what the best angle to attach the head would be, but I didn't do that, and that might come and bite me in the butt. But we'll see. So as you can see, like, it's starting to come together as a thing. I mean, it doesn't really look feminine yet because, you know, that's where you get the skin on top and you do all these things. So I'm just holding, and it's actually, it's called Santa Monica Puppet. Oh, Home of Puppet. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I actually have heard of the Santa Monica Puppetry Center. So that's not quite dry. Because the problem is, you sort of let go when it seems dry, but then it's not quite dry, and it sort of stretches a bit, and then that's just annoying, because then you have to kind of fix it. That's okay. Look, Harold, I mean, I'm sitting here holding this thing completely still for minutes at a time. I'm doing the head, Ellie. I'm recording this, so I'll put a link up of the whole thing if you're actually curious to sort of sit through the staggering boredom that is me holding foam still for an hour and a half or whatever it ends up being. But this is her head, so it'll look like a version of this, Ellie. So, but with the different cheeks. Hey, it's Josh. Oh wait, I can put more glue there. So this will be her head, and I'll show you, Ellie, in just one second what the body looks like. Now I don't have the arms, but I'm going to do that. That's really simple because the arms are actually going to be. What I'm going to do for the arms, I'm going to have two of these segments, and I'm going to connect them inside a fabric sleeve, which is actually the exact same way I'm doing. I've got the snitch one, where I cut along an angle. I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell that? You can sort of see that it's like an angle. So I've cut an angle on the foam, and then that'll be the legs, and it'll be the same for the arms and for the legs, which will be nice and very easy to make. And then after I make this head initially, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's this is the Caprica 6, and she does the mouth moves. I'm Caprica 6. God has a plan for you, Gaius. And then this is Ty, which he will have a patch at some point in the near future. And they're like, what the frack? What the frack? So basically, the boomer is going to be her, but with a slightly different cheek structure. It's in Don't you tell me I don't hear anything. It's in the frackin' walls. Although, Josh, don't spoil. Yes, Boomer on Galactica is the current one. Yeah, and Harold is only like season 2.5, so no one. I accidentally spoiled some stuff for him, so I guess limiting the spoilers would be cool. But let's see here. So this will be. It's actually. And of course, this is like I can build this in an hour and a half, but I don't really remember exactly how many hours of effort this represents to get to this point because I had a whole bunch of patterns and stuff. But this is her head, and then Allie, this is oh, thank you. It's really easy to do him because he just talk like that. Well, no, Technomicon, well, no. It's just as a general thing, they don't really get along. No, I'm just making, I'm making Tyrol, Ty, Boomer, and Caprica. He's messing with you. Josh is messing with you. But Allie, this is Boomer's body, so her chest there and her her backside and everything. So the head will sort of sit atop. Here, I'll show you. Will sort of sit. Like this is the body, and then the head will, when completed, sort of sit atop this, basically it'll look like this. So, and then I was doing, this actually looks kind of interesting. This is totally the wrong hand, but it's sort of like, interesting. What a weird thing. Oh my god. It'll come together. But, so anyway, this is the body. Josh won't spoil stuff. Well, actually, he may. I don't know. Who knows? So I've almost got this part done. I'm just going to let that sit. And then basically, let's see. Where did I put her jowls? Her freaking jowls. Where did her fracking jowls go? See, I don't use... there. I don't say frack like that. I'm trying to remember how I did this now. Which one is that? Yeah, okay. So basically, what I'm going to do to help make the angled cut, I'm actually, oh, you can't see that. So I'm cutting it, I'm cutting this at an angle. And you'll see why I'm doing this in just one second. Or at least you'll get my explanation whether or not it makes sense. I have no idea. It's impossible. See you later, Josh. Oh, he already left, I think. But so basically, I'm cutting it like this, so when I glue it, it'll sort of go in like this. I think this might actually look vaguely impressive to watch. Huh. I have very little perspective on it because I know all of the stuff that's happening. So, let's see. Did you know that melted glue hurts if you get it on your hand? It is actually another reason to use the lower heat because it doesn't burn as much. You can like blister yourself really, actually kind of badly if you aren't careful. So I'm sort of violating my no pinch thing because I want this to sort of sit like this. But so this is kind of her head. That looks a little weird actually. It seems huge compared to her. We'll see. Actually, no, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. That's how it goes. And I won't sing any of the Flight of the Conchords, even though it's in my head, because I will spare you that. And my wife, who just walked in. You just missed Josh, though, Maddie. He was watching. Although Allie is here. Is Allie still here? Yeah, Allie's still here. No, he's the very nice gentleman who lives well. Allie, my wife Maddie says hello. Oh, why did I cut? So that it goes in there, so it makes the it just makes it sort of go in a little, because I kind of want this part to go straight down, and then the cheeks to sort of be around it. Allie says hello, and then Andrew, Puppet Vision, says hi. He's here, and Maddie says hi too as well. Andrew was saying that it's interesting to watch because I have a unique way of building the puppets, which he says is totally not an insult, but that because most people are, or that he's aware of, or more, a number of people anyway, are doing the simpler looking sort of head patterns, well, everything prior to these actually. Let's see. So this looks too big. This looks huge. Like her face is too big or something. It's not. She is a little tall. This may actually be a little too tall. I may have to make a second one of those. There's no worries about the questions. Let's see. Okay, so how did I make that in? Alpha could totally stop. Maddie's now being hilarious, suggesting that the dogs could come up on our couch, which is the good couch down here, which I don't. It doesn't happen. So she's saying that as though I wouldn't like jump up. It's not like this is like really compelling because this is it's just like a bunch of foam sitting here. And me going, I'm just, like, there's like an hour and 12 minutes of it so far, and it's largely me just holding the stuff in place. So. Yeah, I had up to 11, now I'm down to 9. 80 people total. I don't know if this is interesting. Okay, so this is where we should, after I'm done this, we have to do food stuff. I'm kind of getting hungry. Actually, now I'm going to cut the jowls a little. I'm not surprised because you get a box and there's like a bunch of them. We were at the nursery earlier today. You see, because now that I don't know if anyone can actually hear Maddie in the background, but what? Ha 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 ha. So I'm just going to hold this like this and hope that this works. So this will be the chin. Allie says he wants to build a puppet now. Like, well, it's you know, the simple puppet's not that hard. I think that what? It is. It's very fun. I think that this part is too big, so I'm either going to. Well, no, I got to use the hard plastic for that. But it looks like it could. I know. It looks like it could be, yeah. Or a stormtrooper. Wait. Oh, run live workshops. Yeah, that could be kind of cool. Allie's saying I should run live workshops in Guelph. I have no idea if I'm communicating myself well. That would sort of be key to the thing. I mean, hopefully I am, but shoot. Are you remembering what happened in the woods today? I was going to say, if not for the fact that I can't do a decent puppet in 5 minutes, I could totally do that as a demo camp thing. Yeah, I think that could go well. I think Andrew and I, Puppet Vision and I, are talking about doing like a bar camp kind of thing, but for puppets. Um, and I think that could work because you get some people who are actually puppeteer um, coming to sort of learn stuff or show stuff or perform, but then presumably you'd have some people who are just who are not puppet builders, but you know they want to make one for the kids or whatever, and there'd be a lot of people coming in that way. So I can imagine it being relatively popular. Oh, the woods. Yes, we live next to. We absolutely should. And I'm going to hold you to that with 8 other people aside from you watching this. So you've totally committed yourself to doing it. Let's see here. I'm actually getting close to finishing this part of the head, which means because I have not been doing the ears in this section of it. So see, because this is the chin. Now she's got a too big of a chin, I think. Damn it! What was the damn it? Huh? I don't know what the damn it is. But the woods. We live next to this conservation area. Now you're sorry. Yes, I made my joke and then I completely forgot that I made the joke. Such is life with me. Um, yeah, Maddie just agreed in the background. But anyway, a conservation area. There are lots of deer and various other animals. And the dogs found 2 fawns that were maybe a couple months old. They were very, very tiny. And our one dog, our cattle dog, was like attacking the dog thing. Didn't like hurt it, I don't think. But it's I'll show you a picture actually. Took pictures of the poor deer that I was worried they were dying. And he was sort of pawing at them, and they made this really just so sad little bleating noise. It was just so sad, and like they're just so tiny. I don't know if you can see. It's hard to tell, but they're just like they're about the size of a cat. Yeah, and then I felt really bad, and we were like trying to hold the dogs off, and see, like I was worried the thing was dead, because apparently when they're scared, they just kind of fall over, and this one just was like going in whatever position it was in, and we were also worried that mommy deer was going to come and kick the crap out of us. Um, I'm not gonna make a puppet out of the deer. Dude, I am so backlogged on puppets I want to make. Well, a deer puppet would be cute. If there's a reason, absolutely, Harold. If there was a reason to do the puppet deer, then I would totally be on board for that. Like I have a raccoon deer off camera. What? Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. Um, Masking tape? No, not off the top of my head. Well, I don't. Yeah, see, we were a little depressed too because we were told by Humane Society to just leave the deer in case the mother came back. We were worried that like there's coyotes or something that are going to eat them, and that would be really sad. Because they were like ridiculously cute, and I was trying to be nice and like petting the thing and try to comfort it, but Maddie wouldn't do it because she then pointed out quite wisely that I think I was doing it, but like scared the shit out of these poor deer. Because like the dogs are attacking, and then some guy's going, "It's okay, it's okay." Um, See, her head looks way too tall, doesn't it? Yeah, it's way too tall. You know what I'm gonna do? I don't think it's too wide though. See now, here what I'm trying to do. It's too tall because you look at she's supposed to be like the same head size as her, and you can kind of it's actually not that much different, but this is a different cheek. So what I'm going to do, because this is sort of roughly it, and then what I actually have to do is I have to put another piece of foam there to connect it, and another piece here, just to sort of make it a little firmer. That's cool. You know, it's neat that you were watching, Harold. That's pretty. I mean, it's neat that anyone was watching. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut this back open here real quick, and I'm gonna see if this works. And if it works and looks a little haggard, then I'll just modify my pattern. Um, so what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting I'm cutting her head open again. And I'm gonna reduce the height a bit. Can we do this? So I've cut this off, and I'm gonna see. It was about here. Wait, it was about here. So if it goes to about say here, yeah, so I'm going to cut about, ah, ah. Oh, the mouth removal, I'll show you how the mouth removal in a second, Ali, because I actually have a couple versions with the mouth built already. I had not seen that article, Newsweek. I'll try to remember to check that out. I want to get the Street Gang, which is supposed to be a pretty good book about the history of Sesame Street and the sort of formation of it and everything. So, Ali, this being a Caprica, basically what I have is I've cut a hole for the mouth here, and I've sort of cut slats along the side so the foam can kind of go up and down. And I have 2 pieces of foam core glued to the back of, or the inside of the head, with actually some loops of armature wire for my fingers to go in. And then basically I just sort of do this, and then that's how it works. Because generally the other puppets I do have all sort of historically been like this, where they have the big flap, and it's cute, but it's really cute. You know, it's a big exaggerated thing, and I like the idea of these being a little more nuanced. So this is you know, Six going, I'm going to talk like this. Yes. Well, actually, I'll show you. One second here. This is one of the prototypes for the Caprica head. Well before I got to a phase that I wanted. So I fucked this up. Like, I messed this up about 6 or 7 times. And I thought I would do this open and then close it, but then I realized that if I did that, it would probably bunch everything up. So it would sort of like, there would be like a big wrinkle line when they're not talking, and that would look weird. And it also looks like basically a scared gray alien wearing a bicycle helmet. But then it's much better. So I've sort of gotten in the habit of expecting to fail several times in the course of succeeding, and then that being sort of part of the process, which is actually works. It works. So now I've got to re-glue this. So I'm going to do this here. So this will probably only take about 10. Thank you very much, by the way, Harold. It's taking me probably about 10 minutes or something to get this head back into the shape that it was, and it'll probably be good enough. Now, whether that means I'm going to actually use this or wait until I get the better foam, I'm not sure, but you know, it'll be cool. Now, Ali is in Guelph, and I'm in Guelph, and Ali's probably seeing the nice weather outside that we finally have again. So it's I'm enjoying doing this. I've been looking forward to doing this like all week, but there's still a part of me that's like, I should be outside. Although this is a weekend, so. But yeah, I found in sort of doing this, because I like, as I said, I start off with these paper prototypes that I'm building, that I'm intending, like, I'm not expecting. Oh, well, thank you. Like I said, I'm recording this, like, or Ustream, I'm setting it to record, so there'll be a link of the whole thing if you're actually curious to see the whole process, which, you know, I guess isn't, I mean, sort of one of those things. You know, you forget the thing that you know how to do never seems as complicated or as interesting, you know. Oh, right. I think I forgot to cut a bit there. So it always feels like it's not that interesting, but just because, you know, I like figuring the things out. So once I figured it out, it always seems a little less interesting to me, because I like the challenge of learning things. But anyway, because I'm doing these paper patterns first, the paper prototypes, I have no idea what he's doing. That's funny. So I could kind of make that like, oh, look, it's Gort or something. Or I could make her head open, like, hello. But that's not something I'm going to do. I'm not hiding this from you. I'm just sort of, it's a little awkward. I got to figure out the camera work if I'm going to keep doing this, because this is not the thing. I'm actually considering, and I may have mentioned this to Andrew, I think I did actually while we were at Puppet Vision. I'm considering starting doing like a tutorial show kind of thing, and starting with something probably a lot simpler than this. But so part of my doing this is I said that I would do it, so it's kind of cool. But then also part of it is me seeing how well that feels to actually do this in front of the stuff. Thanks, Elliot. See you later. Oh, he's already gone. I was looking away from the screen. And okay, you also have a good day, Harold. Thanks for watching. It's cool. So it'll just be a couple minutes, and then I'll have this basically done, but for all of the various bits I have to do after. I'm off camera. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to remember to sort of keep the actual action going on screen. So, let's do here. Yeah, there. I feel like that's a little too. I'm not sure if I like that part, but we'll see. And then I'll probably have to cut this to make it a little look a little tidier. Stick Puppets Live. I watched a minute of it when you linked to it, I think yesterday, but I haven't watched it more than a couple minutes of it. I saw he was talking about like looked like a key holder or a keychain thing that he was using in some capacity in the puppets, but I didn't catch what the capacity was or whatever. So basically, so let's see, here's my problem now, is that this is a little, see if it's actually like this, that actually would look okay, and I'm a little feminine, but she's not like that, so, But once I put in these extra pieces, now, so this is, I think, what we're going to leave at this exact moment, because I got to think about whether or not I like it, because there's lots of quiet reflection with the puppets. Also, I'm very hungry. Yeah, cool. What is, just out of curiosity, what is quite a little following in terms of numbers? Actually, I'm going to put the back piece on so you can see how I'm connecting that. I'm not like, oh, only, I don't know if he does numbers like I do, which is like 10 concurrent viewers, which is still really awesome that 10 people found this interesting enough to watch. But so what I'm going to do here, so the only reason I have this as two separate pieces in the back is that for me to print the pattern off of the paper, it's a little too big. And in the back of my head, one of the things I had long thought to do, and I don't know if I'm going to, is to give out the patterns for all of these once I'm done, because I kind of like the idea of that because it's kind of funny. But I don't know if I'm going to do that, and so I'm sort of roughing this one. This is the part where I rough it out. But so in any case, to print it, I would certainly need a certain. You want to have a certain size of paper. Like some of the patterns you get from Project Puppet, they're big, but Pasha actually prints them properly on like appropriate sized paper. Which, I'm not doing that. I'm not selling these patterns. I'm just, I was thinking of giving them away actually. I don't know. I wonder how many people would be interested in watching me, like a live workshop kind of thing. I imagine you get some people. I'd have to do something pretty cheap. Wait, what? Yeah, I think I've got over the span of this, I've got about 90, but not actually concurrent in any way. Which again, it's perfectly fine. It's cool. The last sentence was kind of English. It was English-esque. So a problem I have now, and I'm not sure how I'm going to fix it. And part of it is because this is, see, you can sort of see this is a little more flexible. This actually will bend, but I don't know if you can see actually. This is just nicer and rigid, and it just holds the shape different. Whereas this one is just, it's looser. So the same amount of force to do this will like go like that. So it's probably, I don't know if it's going to work. But her head seems, something about it seems so big. Like, huh? You know what? I don't know that this is going to work. Oh, you know what it is? This. No, I really fucked that up. How did I do that? Oh, I see what I did. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a second one of these. Well, that's cool. So this is. I'm gonna end this in a second because I've actually realized why I'm gonna have to rebuild this. It's because for some reason I did this, and I don't know, it just became big or something. I guess I miscut that. How did I miscut that? See, that's much bigger. Like, this forehead, which I like the sort of compactness of it. Like, I feel like he's got a big enough forehead, or the brow ridge. So this is nice and small, whereas this brow ridge is bigger, and it makes her look out of balance. It makes it look like this is where the eyes are, but the eyes are actually going to be like here. You know, if she had a nose, the nose would go sort of like the nose would sort of be like this kind of a thing. But she needs to be shorter. And if I mean, I could cut this again. I'm not sure. I think, actually, I'm not going to do that because this is all off balance right now. So I think I'm going to build it again. But so anyway, so that's how I screwed it up, which is cool because you know, I just don't know that I'm gonna. There's lots of me thinking about things now. It's like filming my inner monologue or something. So this would sort of roughly be it, you know, like head-wise. So they're basically going to be slightly bubble-headed, which is cool. Which is very cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Except this is too tall, so I'm going to redo that. And I think, you know what I think I'm going to do is I'm not going to use. I'm going to wait until Monday when I get this nice foam again, because I've totally stopped using other foam, because it's not as expensive as reticulated, but it's not as carvable, but it's cheaper, and it has a good amount of rigidity to it. So what I am going to do, because I don't know if you probably can't tell, but I've got this amount of this foam left. So I get the dark foam from the foam store. It's a something 75 density. I actually got it by accident one time because I had a misunderstanding where the person told me that they had reticulated foam, and that was not the case. I mean, they have the gray reticulated foam. It's called the Foam Store. It's actually called the Foam Store. It's at 315 Trillium in Kitchener. If you just do a Yellow Pages search for Foam Store in Kitchener, and I like them. I think they vaguely know me there at this point. But like this stuff is nice, and I don't know if you noticed it when you were here, Andrew, but it's just it feels sculptable. It feels. Let me just type out the thing so you can see it. Because I was just there today. I actually remember the thing. It's not open on the weekends, I don't think. And if you foam store 315 William. Make a drive. Kitchener. Boom. So that's it. Huh. But I just really like it. Like, what do you think of this compared to, like, I mean, the cheap stuff is also it's so much more flimsy, whereas you can sort of, like, that's a thing. I don't know if you can tell this one, but if I shake it, it kind of has a bit of a thing. But if I shake this, it goes like it's just not as dense. So what I'm going to do with all the other foam though is I'm gonna make the arms and the legs for all four. But I'd actually thought I was getting a really good deal, or I thought they actually had ordered in some reticulated, but the woman I don't normally deal with, she said it. Yeah, they cut it, like they get the block and they cut it to whatever depth you want or whatever thickness you want. It's a neat little place. They've got like all kinds of foam. Like they sell it. It's like an industrial foam seller, so they mostly sell it to like mattress toppers and stuff like that. I am getting of this, and I have no idea if it's a good price, but I'm getting a 24 by 96 sheet, which is after tax about $40. Which that could be way more expensive than normal. Let me just write that down here. 24 inch by 96 inch equals about 40. And it, I've liked it, but I was really upset because I thought I was getting reticulated foam, and they said, "Oh no, we don't have reticulated foam. The woman who told you that is insane." Although they didn't actually call her insane. They just told me I was wrong. And anyway, and so, but I use this, and I just think it's so much nicer. Like, I don't want to go back to this. But the really reason I got this is they don't cut on Fridays because they do like a work sharing thing. So if you go on Fridays, you can't get anything till Monday. Sometimes you can get it, within the same day. But I've called them in the past to order, and they don't generally answer the phone that much. So I always go in person. So anyway, so I wanted to do something this weekend, and so I bought this because they happen to have some of the cheap stuff laying around, but it'll work for the arm segments, but that's about it. So no more heads ever with this, because also if I put too much stuff on it, it's just for all non-injured people. If you put too much stuff on it, it could collapse. You'd have to support it sort of here a little more, like I did David Puppet. That was a dragon a long time ago, and I had to actually with doweling support it, and I probably wouldn't have needed to do it as much with this foam or reticulated, I guess. But reticulated foam is like, to get like a couple feet of it is only like $30, so it's pretty insane. But yeah, it's in an industrial park south of the city. When you're coming in, you just instead of going in, you just take the 401 east a little bit past, like an exit or two past the main entrance to the city, and it's in the industrial park there. But it's good. They're cool. I think they remember me because I'm one of the few people who's making puppets with it. But yeah. So that's a little disappointing about this, but at the same time, I also see I'm viewing this as a prototype. So this is cool. All the other ones I've made multiple copies of the head, so it's no big deal. I find this more consistent to cut because it's a little firmer, so it's not like waffling as much. But yeah, so theoretically, I'm getting some Antron fleece from Tom Stewart's tomorrow, and then I'm going to. I already have the pattern made for the heads, for the Caprica and tie heads. I have the pattern already made, which this, I believe, this is the Caprica 6 face pattern. This being part of her head. So I'm gonna buy enough or get enough foam or fleece from him tomorrow, or hopefully tomorrow to cover I think her head, or maybe his head, and maybe one of the other ones when I get it, or maybe one of the bodies or the arms or something. So at the very least, these two heads. So my goal for the weekend, and this won't affect anyone watching this recorded, is to have like I've got all 4 bodies made. I've got all 4 of the torsos, but my goal is to have all 4 sets of limbs. So this is not exactly right, but it'll be sort of like this, but 2 of them together wrapped in fabric, which will kind of look a bit like, sort of like this, right? Now, of course, better, because it won't have this. Well, this is actually jogging fleece, but it'll be kind of cool, and then you can sort of see, I'll just give you a sense of very rough sense of what it'll look like. Can you see that? Yeah, now she'll look much better when she has the facial features on. I'm just saying, she just looks like, she looks kind of creepy right now. And then, she'll have an eye here, kind of thing. And then it'll be sort of like, oh, well, how are you doing? Well, I'm okay. I happen to be a Cylon. How about that? Cool. No, yeah, happy to provide the foam info. So I think that's also going to be it for me. So thank you, everybody who is actually watching, and there's apparently now 5 of you. So cool. I may do this again when I'm making the prototype of it, or maybe even the next. I don't know if anyone's going to watch it for the weekend, but I may do a bit when I'm building the bodies. I certainly will do terribly exciting ones. I could do a ridiculously exciting one showing how I sew this, because just for reference for the few people who are still watching, this is basically I had the pattern here I was talking about, so I'm basically going to sort of lay this over top of it. Or I can show you actually. I make the pattern, but I'm basically just going to drape the fleece over top of this, which I have to dye first, and then sew it. And to do a head of about this size will take Oh gosh, that'll take me hours, like a few hours to sew, because it's gonna take me a lot of stuff, a lot of effort. It's just it's not complicated. It's just really time intensive. Certainly to do it at a high enough level that I'm going for. Because you can kind of quickly do it, but the wonderful thing with the Antrim fleece is you can hide the seams pretty well, and there are going to be a bunch of seams. So I'm going to have to take the time to do that just right. So that's going to happen at some point over the weekend, though I'm not sure when. So yes. So thank you again to everyone who's watching. It's kind of neat. I hope it's interesting to people, whether or not you can build puppets, but just to see how much work goes on. Because I find that a lot of people don't have a, I don't mean like there's a proper understanding that they should have, but you know, you can go into a store and you buy a gunned puppet for like $40 and or $20 or whatever, and then it seems unreasonable to say that this puppet will cost $10,000. But in fact, lots of work. So anyway, see everybody again shortly, or whatever. So goodbye. I think it's okay. Hello.